guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have this big old boil right on the front of my face, and I made the mistake of trying to pop it. It just irritated it even more. But I figured I would film a video showing you how you can conceal pimples. So, you know I only have one. I have a couple other little ones, but they're so small, they'll be covered when I do my foundation and concealer. But this one's really big, so I just want to share my tips and tricks with you on how you conceal a pimple. You know, if you have a really big one, if you have a really special event you need to go to, and you're worried that this is gonna ruin your day, then I will share with you how you can conceal it. And the same rule, this applies if you have pimples all over your cheeks, all over your face. This trick still applies to that. So let me zoom in so you can see my face better, and so you can really see what I'm doing. See, there she is. I'm not making this up. I know you guys can see this. It's a big old mama, that's for sure. And I think that's the direct result from terrible eating on Easter. Okay, so I already primed my skin. I'm gonna use squalane oil and then a Dermalogica primer. Now, I'm gonna go in with foundation. Couple things. Number one, concealing this is gonna be the last step I do after I finish all my face makeup. So I'm gonna do my foundation, all my powders how I normally do, and lastly show you how you can conceal that. That's the main key, because you know, if you try to conceal first and then you're going in with following products like powders and stuff, it's just gonna wipe that off. It's gonna get more cakey, more muddy. The best rule is to just do your makeup how you normally would, and then conceal is last. First, I'm going in with the Josie Muran Vibrancy Foundation, and I'm going to use the Beauty Blender. I think a really good tip when you have acne, pimples all over, or just one big pimple is to use your lightest, sheerest foundation you have. And I know that sounds a little contradictory because you may think you want your like heaviest, thickest, stickiest one to cover up everything, but if you have acne and a bunch of texture and pimples, you want your skin to look as healthy as it can. So using a lightweight foundation is really gonna help you. It's really gonna help your skin just look healthier. I've learned that the heavier, the thicker the foundation is, it really doesn't do good. It really doesn't do good for your pimples. It's just gonna cake up on top of your pimple and it doesn't look good, I promise you. So try to take your sheerest foundation. You know, if all you have is a very heavy, high coverage foundation, then use a beauty blender because that shears it out and that will get it on more naturally too. That it's good to press. This is also great for acne scars, pressing it in, stippling it in, and kind of filling in those holes or those dents you have on your face, rather than using a brush and wiping it, because it's just gonna wipe it off the pimple. So this is a great technique. You know, I know you can still see it because the real magic comes in at the end when we go to conceal, okay? So just try to use your most lightweight foundation you have, because I promise you it'll just help your skin look healthier. And by stippling it on, that's going to really help fill in any acne scars and just get that first base layer over it. You can see there is a sheer wash of color over it, but of course the main red pigment is still shining through, but that's okay. So we got our first base on. Now I'm gonna conceal like I normally do. So I'm just using my Tarte Shape Tape, and this is probably gonna cover a lot of it too, but you know, I think the real magic comes in at the end. And this is such a thick, heavy concealer to begin with, and sticky. You definitely want a sticky concealer, but I think when I go in with powders, you know, some of that's gonna wipe up. So stay tuned with me till the end. You know, this still isn't fully covering that redness because this is a really big boil I got going on. You can see the redness is shining through. Yeah, another very important reason like why these lightweight products are good. You know, this is so dark red. I've read you can use eye drops before you like apply a little eye drop on it, and that kind of helps calm the redness of your pimple. But like you can see, you can clearly still see mine. So using your lightweight sheerest foundation and concealer, even though this isn't like the sheerest concealer, but I feel like it blends out beautifully. It's just gonna also prevent your pimples and acne from looking really muddy. Definitely make sure you're going in with a great skincare routine before really hydrating your pimple. Put on whatever treatment you use, but I highly suggest squalane oil for everyone because it's just gonna really help soften and condition your skin, prevent flakiness. You know, I know that can be a result of harsh acne treatment products. Lately, I've been loving going in with a cream blusher. It just brings more youthfulness to my skin. It helps it look more hydrated and glowy, but overall just hydrated. So this is just by BeautyCounter, their cream blusher in the color Hibiscus. You can just wipe your brush or your beauty blender into it. And I use this 2 different times in my process. First, just to initially get it on, but a lot of it unfortunately is going to be covered by powder, so I go in at the very end, and it just brings some youthfulness and some hydration back to your cheeks, and kind of takes away that powdery feel. So I think it's a good little trick to just kind of help your skin look a little more hydrated. Okay, so now I'm going to apply my powder products as I normally do. I always set my face. This is just a loose setting powder by Becca. And I think it's kind of important to point out, I do definitely suggest a very hydrating setting powder, again, because that's gonna help your skin look more youthful and not look so cakey and muddy. Because from what I've learned, packed on cakey makeup and acne just doesn't look good. Plus dry skin. So if you have dry skin, which a lot of people with acne experience just from the harsh acne products, a lot of people think you shouldn't use moisturizers or hydration that can dry your skin out. So the more you're like using hydrating products, like this is a hydrating setting powder. It's not gonna dry you out. It's not gonna magnify lines. It just helps you look better and helps your skin look more healthy. So apply your foundation and your powders how you normally would, and then I will meet back up with you to show how we can conceal this once and for all. I'm applying a little highlighter. You want to be careful if you have a lot of acne and texture. Do not apply this over it because it will magnify it and it will just make it look really muddy. So I'm just applying this in the outer, like the highest point of my cheekbone. Usually I'll bring it a little forward, but that pimple is right there, so I'm not gonna bring it forward. So just a little on top of the cheekbone, and then I always blend it up in circular motions and create a C shape. So under the brow, you know, on the brow bone, and that's usually about it, because I find it just, if I bring it too forward, it will magnify every little pore, every little texture. You know, if you have acne and pimples all over your face, highlighter really isn't a good look for you. Now I'm just going to gently go back in with that blush. It's just gonna help it look a little more youthful. And take away some of the powdery look. It's kind of it's a good little airbrush technique. Okay, now I'm gonna set my face. And once you set your face, you can go back in with that beauty blender and just lightly press. It'll press in that setting spray and mix it, marry it with your cream products. Your powder will help take away any excess powder look. This is a great airbrush technique just to help your makeup look more natural and just help your skin look really healthy, like you got really good skin. Okay, so I got all my makeup done, but clearly you can still see that pimple sticking out like a sore thumb. So this is now the time to go in to conceal. I'm gonna take my Tarte Shape Tape. I find that this is sticky enough, tacky enough, where it's going to cover the pimple and it's gonna stick all day. So this is light. Since it's so close to my eyes, I'm gonna use light, but you know, if it's other parts of your face, maybe you want the light to medium, the medium, whatever color works for you, you know? And then this is the key. You're gonna want a really pointy brush. I just got this off of Amazon, but I can link it below if you're interested. It came in a pack of like 8. I got this when I was doing Halloween tutorials because it's really pointy and it was good for like drawing the skeleton teeth and the skull teeth and whatever. But you can see like it has a really pointy tip. But obviously if you don't have this, another option, take an angled eyeliner brush and you're gonna use the pointed tip on that. You could take just like whichever is your smallest, pointiest brush. You could even take a Q-tip, actually. That would work fine as well. But so what I do is I take this pointed brush and then I take the concealer. I'm gonna try to pick up the tiniest amount from the wand. And it definitely coated my brush. You don't want too much, so I always blot a little on my skin. It's better to work your way up than to get too much. So let me zoom in so you can really see this. But again, you want it on your brush, and I always kind of work my way up. Now take your pointed brush and just lightly press and dot it all over the pimple. And the lightest little strokes. And you know, I understand this can be time consuming, but this is just kind of what it takes, guys. If you have this all over your face, this really is a great little trick to do. And I just tap it till it blends in. But you can also take your finger if they're clean. I try to avoid my finger though, just because I don't want to spread more bacteria, but the warmth from your finger will really help melt it and just blend it in more naturally with your skin. So there's the first coat. I'm gonna go in with a second coat. And I find that tapping is the most natural rather than wiping. And I understand this might take a little bit of a minute. And I find that this is the most natural. It prevents it from being muddy. You really want to make sure you have the right color so it's not obvious. And you know, this one was really red. I should have even gone over it with a color corrector first to kind of cancel out that redness because it was such a dark red. I feel like I can see it kind of still seeping through because it was so dark red. So you have really red ones and really big boils, then maybe go in with a peach color corrector before just to kind of neutralize that red. But by tapping, that will help the product stay on the pimple. If you're wiping and rubbing, it's just gonna wipe off and become kind of messy. Then I dip the brush in again in my setting powder and just lightly go over that. And that sets it. If you guys don't have concealer, you can totally use your foundation. Alrighty, so that's good enough. You know, for the most part, it's concealed. So I think that's a great trick to concealing your pimple. And you know, guys, there's nothing you can do about the actual bumps and texture. So this is just like concealing it so you can't really see it. Alrighty, so I think I concealed it pretty good. What do you guys think? I hope that you guys found this helpful. I hope this helps you. If you have pimples all over, just really take your time to gently dot it around the pimple and do your thing. You know, I think key is finding a great pointed brush and slowly working your way up. You know, you can do a couple layers if you need to. Dab, 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 and that will conceal the pimples. Alrighty, well, I hope you guys found this helpful and I sure do appreciate you watching. Leave any suggestions below if you have a better method or your own method of how you conceal pimples. This is just what works for me. This is what I do, so I just wanted to share with you guys, and you know, hopefully this can help some of you that have some pesky little pimples that you want to conceal. So let me know if you try it out and how it works and what you think. And again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.